Hello students, welcome to third lecture of capacitors and dielectrics. In this session, I will discuss about capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor with a dielectric slab placed partially between its plates. Let us consider a parallel plate capacitor and a dielectric medium of thickness T having dielectric constant K is placed between the plates of this capacitor. Here charge Q is given to the isolated plate of the capacitor. So if the area of the plate is capital A, then surface density of charge on the plate sigma will be equal to Q by A. Now what happens when we place a dielectric slab partially between the plates of the capacitor? There is an external electric field due to the plates XY of the capacitor, which is from positive to negative plate, and when we place the dielectric between these slabs, then this face of the dielectric gains a negative charge due to induction, and this face of the dielectric gains a positive charge due to same region. So an electric field inside dielectric develops from this side to this side, means in direction opposite to the external electric field. Here this is the space having air, this is also the space having air within it, because the dielectric is placed partially between the plates. So the resultant electric field will be reduced due to the presence of this dielectric medium. Now the electric field between the space having air is E0 here, and here also E0, and the electric field inside the dielectric is E dash. So the intensity of electric field E0 will be sigma by epsilon 0, and the intensity of electric field E dash will be sigma by epsilon 0 K. Now to calculate the capacitance of this capacitor, we need the potential difference between the plates. The potential difference between the plates is equal to the work done in bringing unit positive charge from negative plate to the positive plate. This charge covers some distance in air and some distance in dielectric medium. So work done will be calculated in two parts. First, when the charge travels in air, and second, when the charge moves in dielectric medium. Now we calculate the work done in moving this charge Q0 in air. Work done is equal to force into displacement. So force on charge in any electric field is QE. Here in the region of air, the electric field is E0. So force acting on the charge will be Q0 E0. Displacement will be d minus t. So displacement will be d minus t. We will substitute this Q0 1 because we are moving unit charge from one plate to another. So work done is E0 into d minus t. This is the work done in moving the unit charge from one plate to another in air. This is E0 into d minus t. Now work done in moving this charge inside this dielectric medium is force into displacement. Here also force is Q0 into E dash, because electric field is E dash here inside this dielectric medium. So force will be Q0 into E dash into T is the displacement of charge inside this dielectric medium. Q0 is 1. So we have work done is equal to E dash into T. This is the work done in moving the charge inside this dielectric medium. This is E dash into T. Now if we add both these work, then it will be equal to the potential difference between the plates. So we will substitute the value of E0 and E dash from these equations. Here we get V is equal to sigma by epsilon 0 into d minus t, and E dash is sigma by epsilon 0 k into t. Now we will solve this equation taking sigma by epsilon 0 common outside. So we get d minus t plus t by k. V is equal to q by a epsilon 0 because sigma is q by a from equation 1. D minus t plus t by k. We have calculated the potential difference between the plates of the capacitor. Therefore, by the definition of capacitance C is equal to Q by V, we will substitute this value from equation 2 here. So we will get Q by, in place of V, Q by A epsilon 0 d minus t plus t by k. Now Q and Q will be cancelled out. So we get C is equal to A epsilon 0 d minus t plus t by k. Here we can notice by this equation that on placing a dielectric slab partially between the plates of the capacitor, the effective distance between the plates is decreased. Now few more things you have to note down here. If the volume between the plates is completely filled with the dielectric slab, then in that case this T is equal to D. So on placing T is equal to D in this equation, we can write C is equal to A epsilon 0 d minus d plus d by k is equal to k A epsilon 0 by d. Now this is the same relation as obtained in our previous topic. If the space between the plates has air, in that case this T is equal to 0. In that case, the capacitance of a parallel plates capacitor with air between its plates, C0 is equal to A epsilon 0 upon d minus 0 in place of T and T plus 0. So we get C0 is equal to A epsilon 0 by d. Third is, if small n mediums of thicknesses T1, T2 and so on Tn and dielectric constants K1, K2 and so on Kn are placed between the plates, then the distance between the plates D is equal to T1 plus T2 plus T3 and so on Tn. You can see here this figure. This is a parallel plate capacitor having a small n dielectric mediums between its plates of dielectric constants K1, K2 and so on Kn and thicknesses T1, T2 and so on Tn. Therefore, if we add all these T1, T2 and so on up to Tn, we get the distance between the plates. So D is equal to T1 plus T2 and so on Tn. In this case, the capacity of the capacitor will be C is equal to A epsilon 0 upon d minus T1 plus T2 plus and so on Tn plus T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 and so on Tn by Kn. This complete is equal to small d. So this term will become 0 and we get the capacity of the capacitor in this case as C is equal to A epsilon 0 upon T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 plus and so on Tn by Kn. Now we come to our next topic, which is electric potential energy stored in a charged capacitor. When a capacitor is charged, work is done. This work is stored between the plates of the capacitor in the form of electrical potential energy. We know that charge given to the plates of a capacitor is directly proportional to its potential difference, means Q is directly proportional to V. Therefore, if we draw a graph between charge and potential difference, we will get a straight line as shown here in this figure. And therefore, to evaluate the potential energy, we must evaluate the work done. And this work done is obtained by the area between the line OA and charge axis, that is energy of the charged capacitor. U is equal to area of triangle OAB. This will be 1 upon 2 OB into AB. Here OB is Q and AB is V. So energy means the potential energy is equal to half Q into V. Now as we know Q is equal to CV, we will substitute CV in place of Q. So we get half CV square. Also we know that V is equal to Q by C. So in place of V, we substitute Q by C and we get half Q square by C. So here are three equations of potential energy of this charged capacitor. As we also know, capacitance of air capacitor is C is equal to A epsilon 0 by D. If the distance between the plates is D and potential difference between the plates is capital V, then E is equal to V by D. From here we get V is equal to E into D. Now we will substitute the values of 4 and 5 in equation number 2. So U is equal to half. In place of C, we substitute A epsilon 0 by D. In place of V, we substitute E into D. So we get half epsilon 0 E square A into D. This is the total potential energy stored inside a charged capacitor. Therefore, the potential energy stored inside unit volume of a conductor. Small u is equal to capital U, means energy stored inside the total volume of the capacitor upon volume of the capacitor. This will be obtained from equation number 6 and it is half epsilon 0 E square A into D, and volume of the capacitor will be A into D. A into D will cancel out, so small u is equal to half epsilon 0 E square. This is also known as energy density of the charged capacitor. Now we will come to our last topic, which is Van de Graaff generator. This is a device which produces very high potential of the order of 10 to power 7 volts. This potential is used to accelerate electrons, charged particles, ions, protons for the study of nuclear reactions. Principle. We will discuss the principle in 3 parts. First is, charge given to a spherical conductor is uniformly distributed over its surface. As we know, if charge is given to any conductor, it is always distributed uniformly on its surface. Second is, if there is a charged sphere which is placed inside a hollow spherical shell, and if we connect the sphere by a conducting wire to the inner surface of the spherical shell, then the charge of the sphere comes out and gets uniformly distributed on the outer surface of the spherical shell. Like this, as shown here in the figure. Third is, charge density is high at the pointed parts of the conductor. If we take a conductor and give charge to it, then the charge density is high at pointed parts. So the electric field will be high at the pointed parts because charge density is high at the pointed parts. And if we go on giving charge to the conductor, then after a certain limit, this charge starts going into the air or is discharged in the surroundings from the pointed parts or where the electric field is maximum. This discharge of charge from pointed parts of the conductor is known as electric wind or corona discharge. Now we come to the construction. Van de Graaff generator consists of a large spherical conductor capital S of radius nearly 3 meter and a belt. This is a belt which is made of rubber or silk. This belt moves over two pulleys P1 and P2 with the help of a electric motor. Two combs C1 and C2, which are made of metal, are placed near this belt. Comb C1 is connected to the positive terminal of a high tension battery of nearly 10 to the power 4 volt, and the negative terminal of the high tension battery is grounded, while comb C2 is connected to the inner surface of the spherical conductor capital S. Spray comb C1 sprays positive charge on this belt. Since this belt is continuously moving, so this charge slowly reaches to the collector comb C2, which is connected with the inner surface of the spherical conductor S. From here the charge is transferred to the outer surface of the spherical conductor S by the process of corona discharge. Gradually the charge of the spherical conductor S increases because the belt is continuously moving, and as the charge on the spherical conductor S increases, the electric field on the spherical conductor also increases. After a certain time, a limit comes when this electric field becomes sufficient to break the dielectric strength of the air. Now the leakage of charge starts from the surface of the sphere. In this condition, the electric field on the surface of spherical conductor S is maximum and is equal to dielectric strength of the air. Now, if the radius of the sphere is capital R and the charge on it is capital Q, then electric field on the spherical conductor S is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square, and this will be equal to E max. So the potential on the surface of the sphere will be V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R, and from this equation we can substitute the value. This will become E max into capital R. For air, E max is 3 into 10 to the power 6 volt per meter, and the radius of the spherical conductor S is nearly 3 meter. Then in such condition, potential on the surface of the conductor S is V equal to 3 into 10 to the power 6 into 3. This is 9 into 10 to the power 6, which is approximately 10 to the power 7 volt. If we put this Van de Graaff generator into a grounded iron tank filled with air at 15 atmosphere, then a further higher voltage is obtained by this apparatus.